So what are the 7 highest worries for SMB owners concerning their DT, digital transformation? Did you ever ask yourself as a business owner, am I alone having issues with digital transformation in my projects and my people? What about my competition? How are they doing in their DT? Are they better than I am? How is it going? You don't know. So, and do I really know my challenge, your challenges? So, do you know what's going on? Do you know how do you compare with the competition and even with your peers within your market? And what are the solutions? What you should do first in order to overcome the challenges and the worries you have related to your digital transformation? And obviously, where should I start? What is the best starting point for you to be successful and how you should attack it? So now let's list those 7 highest worries. Obviously, the lack of resources. So as an entrepreneur, we always need more money. We always need more people most of the time, except perhaps for platforms. But as soon as there is an issue or a success or a need, we are lacking resources. The second worst or highest worry is the security concerns in SMBs, which is getting like worse and worse or increasing all the time. The challenge is a problem. In terms of also when you want to work on projects, you are facing resistance to change. That's a big deal because people are making a difference, not the technology, not your processes, but the people. So if your employees are resistant to the change that you're trying to do, that's a big deal. Processes as well. I mean, you have worked in your company with certain things, certain processes, and when you're bringing the new technology into the game, you need to adapt those processes to the new technology. You need to configure the technology to adapt it to your processes if it is possible with that technology. If it's not possible, you need to change the processes, and adapting to it is one of the highest worry of SMB owners. And this one, you won't be surprised, overwhelming technology. We have so many tools, so many solutions and services being available. It could be on the cloud, could be a software, it could be an app. Many things are available, so it's very overwhelming. And how to choose the technology. So and lastly, it's keeping up with the competition. That is the 7 highest worry. I guess we can list like 30 of them. So those are the ones that I found are very common in the SMB companies doing their digital transformation. So, but these 7 worries are interrelated one way or the other. It's not like a list that you have to address one and each of them independently. The way I see this, I see them more like this one. So we have this lack of resources brings some challenges in terms of security. If you don't have the people to take care of your firewall, your zero trust approach, and any services that in remote work, which is a challenge, you have an issue. So lack of resources brings security concerns. Lack of resources could that you cannot hire people to take care of your change management. So you are going to face resistance to change, which is a big worry as well in your digital journey. So, and adapting to the processes, again, lack of resources because you are making a transition from your actual processes into new processes. So how do you approach that? How you can train your people on this? How you can configure it also? For me, it's all related to lack of resources. We could say that everything is related to that, but let's keep it simple. The second group that is going together very well is overwhelming technology brings how you can choose the best technology to use. So we're going to go through each of them and we're going to show you some solutions as well for each of them. So let's look at the first big block. So again, all related to lack of resources as number 1. So in terms of the constraints that the lack of resources bring is really that the cost of technology. Sometimes it's going to be fairly cheap, and sometimes it's going to be very, very expensive. How you can navigate to find what's the best tool for you in terms of resources, and also expertise required to build and maintain a digital presence. Here we're talking about social networks, your website, any tools, or if you have a portal or you have like some customer access on your websites, how you can build that and maintain it. Because hiring external firm to take care of your website, and if you have a membership website, you need to maintain it. You need to manage the community. You need to manage the people, as an example. And also a big constraint within the lack of resources is how you can leverage those tools. Sometimes what I see in companies is you have a big tool, fairly expensive, and they don't use more than 5 to 10% because it hasn't been configured well at the beginning. So that's a big challenge. So in terms of potential solutions for that, in terms of price and tools, you can use a cloud-based solution because instead of paying a big fee, you can pay on a monthly basis. Yes, you can tell me that some cloud-based solutions are very expensive, but again, you need to find the ones that are fitting with you, with your budget, with your needs. And also, you can take advantage of the open source technology. With open source technology, you can get something fairly cheap if it's not free. But the thing is, you need to know how to configure it. So there's still a challenge of configuration. This is why outsourcing your DT, digital transformation, could be an option for you depending on your resources and the people you have and the people you have access to configure your tool, train your people, adapt your processes. That could be an option for you. So I would say look at this one. And in terms of, again, resistance to change, invest in training and development. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It could be somebody internal. It doesn't need to come from the provider of the solution. You can configure it, find certain things you want to implement on this solution, and train your people on that specific usage of the tool, not the entire tool itself, because you won't use everything in the tool. So just focus on what the people are going to use for your benefits, for their benefits. And first thing, they will understand more and they will adopt the solution faster and they won't resist too much. And again, utilize automation. So once you have the right tool, don't jump into automation too quickly. But if you get there, you can save a lot of time. You can be more efficient. And this is really about leveraging the technology here. So that's important to do too. So now if we look at each of them individually in terms of the risk. So we still have lack of resources and the 3 items that we already attached to the lack of resources. So in terms of security concerns, so what could happen? Why SMB owners worry about that is, yes, you can be vulnerable to data breaches. So that's key. And the thing is, by having a lack of resources, it's not properly managed, it's not updated, so you don't get the latest patches, the latest updates, so you can be vulnerable to data breaches. And again, something that most of the people at the SMB size, they don't train their employees, especially on phishing. They get a lot of phishing emails, and this is something that you should take care of it. And it doesn't have to be expensive to get these 3 things. In terms of resistance to change, sometimes, and you won't like this one, but it comes from the owners. It comes from the senior leadership team, because what they want to do, what you want to do is you want these things to be done tomorrow. You're an entrepreneur, you want to go fast, you want these things to be already implemented. But the thing is, this is not the way it works. Digital transformation is a journey. It takes time. It's multiple projects, and there is a way to approach it. And if you want everything to be ready tomorrow, you won't show the good example to your staff, and you're going to get resistance from them. So it doesn't mean that you don't want to change. It means that you don't want to change certain things that you do, and by doing that, you're not showing your staff how to do things. And what happens most of the time as well is, by being a bit resistant, the plan, the DT plan, the digital transformation plan, is not well communicated, so not well understood. So people are saying, why am I doing this? It is related to this or that. They don't understand where you're going. So there is a lack of leadership at the same time, which brings to the employees, they get demotivated. They don't adopt the new tools. They don't embark in the journey. And that's a problem, because you need their feedback. You need them to adopt your new technology, your new processes, and feed you with a lot of inputs, or feed any entity that is taking care of your digital transformation. And adapting to processes, to adapt your processes onto a new technology, you really need to understand your actual ones. If you don't understand them now, go and map them. You need to understand your quote to cash process, your core process that brings you the majority of your revenues. You need to understand it very well. If it is all over the place, first thing you have to do, jump into that, map it out. It could be a piece of paper, whatever. Doesn't need to be complicated, but you need to understand it very, very well. And if you do so, you'll be able to adapt it and improve it. And a second thing that is very important as well is to get a clear org structure. How your people are passing the information, where are they storing their information? Again, if the structure is not clear, how you can have a process or processes that are clear enough for them to understand. So again, it's all over the place. It's very tough to take these processes and bring them into a technology piece. It's almost impossible. So you need to map that. And in order to map it, perhaps this is not your strength. Maybe you're not just the people internal that can do that. So hire somebody externally, like a business analyst, who can map certain of your processes, the core ones. So the ones that are your cash cows. And from that, you'll get a nice picture of how it works and where it doesn't work really well. And you'll be able to address these things in terms of technology and people as well. So in terms of the potential solutions, obviously the goal is to keep up with the competition, or beat the competition, or stay competitive at the top level, depending on where you are. So potential solution for security concerns. You can outsource the security needs. You don't need to hire one person who is an expert. You can rely on third-party companies who are doing a great job at monitoring everything, staying up to date in terms of cybersecurity, and cover everything that you need to cover, including remote work, because nowadays this is something that is very common, as you know very well. Use a cloud-based solutions. The cloud-based solutions, I cannot say they are fully protected, but they are somewhat protected on their end, so you don't need to take care of that. So if you work on the cloud and you're connected to them, they already have something in place, because their reputation is at stake. So they'll do everything that they can to make sure you are protected, they are protected, your data is protected as well. And again, in terms of security, training. Phishing is there all the time. People are the targets of hackers, and this is where you should invest as an SMB to protect and make sure that the second highest worry of SMB owners is well addressed. Resistance to change. What are the potential solutions? So you need to identify the sources of resistance. Obviously, if you know where it comes from, the real ones, you'll be able to address it. And whatever the sources, you still have to communicate those changes, like on a regular basis. If it's going well, celebrate it. If it doesn't go well, send a message to explain it. You need to get the trust of the employees to avoid and to mitigate the resistance to the change in your journey. And again, training, because we're talking about people here as well. We're talking about people, training on tools, and change management. Change management at the SMB level is very often skipped, and this is important because, again, the people are going to make a difference. The people are going to adopt the tools. If you implement the technology, you just throw the technology at the people, they won't do nothing with it. They need to be trained. It needs to be well configured. They need to understand it. They need to share their inputs to improve the tool at the initial launch, but also after that. So this is very, very, very important to train them on this. So adapting to processes, we kind of addressed it a bit earlier. Get a clear org structure and a clear understanding of your processes within your business. If you get that clear, just that, it's going to be like a big step because you understand how it works. And if you know the process, like step 1, 2, 3, 4, and where it goes and how the data and information and knowledge is passed between from a staff to another staff, I mean, that's going to be very, very key for you. So please take the time to look at your actual processes. And as I said, map your core processes. This is the one that, those are the ones that you need to really, really understand and take ownership of it. And you can find the rest that goes around it. So, and if you don't have the expertise, hire somebody external to take care of that. So now let's go to the next block, which is overwhelming technology. We all live it. I'm trying to stay educated about the tools, but I don't know all the tools, and I won't never know all the tools. And from this like a panoply of technology and tools and solutions of how to choose a technology. So in terms of the overwhelming piece, it's very difficult to understand because it could be complex. And you have started a business. Maybe you didn't start a business in technology. Most of you, it's not in technology, but you want to leverage the technology. It's very tough to understand these things. So there is a multitude of options available in the market. So I totally get it that this is a challenge for most of the SMB owners. But also, you need to integrate all these things. All those departments, whatever it's one person that does everything or 6 different leaders with teams underneath them, you still have to make sure that everything is aligned at this level. And I mean, this is why you need to have a central location to make decisions. So you should look at the videos on the IT steering committee. That's going to be very, very useful. So this is the challenge of this overwhelming technology and how to choose the best technology to keep up with the competition. Now, in terms of the potential solutions. So what are they? So again, you need to understand, you need to know where you are if you want to go in a different spot where you want to be. So understand where you are and look at where you want to be in 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. This way you'll know the gaps and you'll be able to understand that and make it. So identify your specific business needs and goals. It's about that. So what are your goals in a few years down the road? And consider the resources you have, financial, but also human resources. It's always a challenge. And what type of people, what type of expertise do you have in your organizations? And before jumping into looking at all the technology available and choosing the right one for you, look at what you already have in your business before going outside. I've seen that many, many times. People are thinking or talking about the need, but the first thing they do, they go into the solution mode and they want to take a new tool and just throw it at the end employees and hope it's going to work. This is not the way it works. If you already have an ecosystem like Google Workspace and or Microsoft Office or any ecosystem, you should look at what are the tools available within that ecosystem before going outside and look for different tools. So this is key, because when you are using the tools within the same ecosystem, you don't need to log in. It's well integrated. If you use something in one, you can really use the links and link it to another tool within the ecosystem. So please look at that first and leverage that ecosystem, and you're already paying for it. So why you would go somewhere else to buy a new tool that is not fully integrated? So in terms of technology itself, when you say I need to go and look for something else, outside of my business, look at the cloud-based solutions that we discussed, the SaaS, like software as a service, and try to find something with a low monthly fee. So this way you don't have to spend too much money. And even if you find that a tool could be the best tool for you, look at what are your needs. Go back to what are your specific needs. It's not the best. The sports car is going to help you to look for your grocery. I mean, if you take your car just to go to the grocery and come back and carry some bags here and there, I mean, you need to find what fits for you. So again, don't need to go for the best breed or the most popular tool in the market. Look for something that fits your business needs and go. Open source solutions, again, free or low cost, but sometimes they are a bit more difficult to configure. So look at if you have the internal resources to take care, to build them and maintain them. And again, same thing, if you don't have the resources internally, look externally to help you to do that and make sure you find the right experts in what you are trying to implement. So, and one thing that you need to do when you think about technology, you need to look at how the tools that you already have and the new tools that you're planning to acquire, how they are talking to each other, how they will talk to each other, how easy you can pass some information from one tool to another. So it's all about integration. So please keep that in mind. Integration and data flow, data, information, knowledge flow. And now let's talk about the last but not least, keeping up with the competition. So this is a worry, but obviously this is 7 because you need to address the other 6 before keeping up well with the competition. If you don't do that, that's going to be hard to stay competitive in your market, even if I don't know your market. So going quickly here, evaluating existing processes, we talked about it, identifying areas of improvement. As I said, if you know where you are with your core processes and your resources, your actual resources, and you know where you want to go, you will find the gaps. So you'll find those gaps are areas of improvement. Leverage the technology you already have right now to bring those ideas and areas of improvement to life. Invest in digital marketing and analytics. You need to know what's happening in your market. So with your product, with your services, with your websites, with your newsletter, everything you do in the digital world in terms of marketing, community management, and all these things, make sure that you get good data out of it, because this is how you can make decisions, which is the next point. Data-driven decision-making processes. This is something that is key as well. So make sure that you watch the video about data, information, knowledge. You understand that having quality data, you can get some information, create some knowledge, get some business intelligence, make better decisions, and get into actions with the confidence that this is the way to do because you got the right data. But not only the data, you need to do some interpretation as well of that data. So please watch the video. And partnering with outside organizations on different things, could be agencies, consultants, any experts that can help you. And the goal is from these partners, you can acquire the knowledge required for you to build and maintain those things and make sure that all your projects in your journey are going to be successful. So now going back to what I showed you at the beginning in terms of the visual, that it's about lack of resources, it's about overwhelming technology available to all of us, which is a challenge. But what should be the real focus overall into this is this. Make sure that everything you do in your digital strategy is really aligned with your goals. Sometimes we believe, the new tool will do everything, but look at your goals first. Look at your needs and try to find the right tool, the right solution, whatever the type of solutions to fit with your need. This is the main focus. And the best way to start is really to get your IT roadmap. This is the best. The IT roadmap will take care of this on the first step and will take care of all of these things. So keep that in mind, that working on all these big aspects, but a digital IT roadmap, I'm going to repeat that quite often. This is something that is key as a starting point for your digital journey. So if you like this video and you're a business owner, a director of IT, or a CIO, a virtual CIO, or anybody who would like to learn more about digital transformation, this channel is for you. You're going to learn a lot about it. I'm going to share my hints and my tips, and that's going to be your channel. And please comment on YouTube as much as you want. I'd like to get your feedback to know what I can present to you in the meantime. So welcome to your channel.